right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, I've got Mikey VIP, who you heard recently on our live episode on The Blackening. This is his first time on a main Piecing It Together episode, and I'm happy to have him here. We've gone back many, many years back before I started podcasting, so it's great to have him here on the show. And we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, a very fun movie that's out right now in theaters. And you should go check it out if you haven't yet. And we got a bunch of great puzzle pieces to get into in this conversation. So that's coming up here in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you're subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at PiecingPod. Join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And don't forget about our Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, and from my music career. We actually have a bunch of Piecing It Together episodes on there right now that haven't come out on the main feed yet. And we're about to post three bonus episodes of Awesome Movie Year. And I'm about to post a exclusive soundtrack that I scored earlier this year that will be exclusive to the Patreon. So a whole lot of content over there, patreon.com/bydavidrosen. One last thing, there was probably an ad that played at the top of the show, but I'm going to tell you about it here in the actual intro anyway, because it's next week. Our next live episode of Piecing It Together is coming up. We're back at Maya Cinemas in North Las Vegas on Thursday, August 17th. At the time this goes up, that should be next Thursday. And we are going to be talking about Strays, a very ridiculous and fun-looking talking dog, raunchy R-rated comedy. And it's going to be a blast. We've got, joining me for that one, we've got producer and journalist Tony Gonzalez. We've got my mom, Sunny Rosen, and then we've got the Potastic Friends. A whole lot of dog-related people joining me on this episode. Everybody does a lot of work with dogs and dog organizations, so it's going to be a really fun celebration of dogs. So come check it out. There are tickets available. There's an Enter to Win that goes for the rest of this weekend if you're listening to this right when the episode goes up. That's on, of course, piecingpod.com. And otherwise, tickets will be available. It is Thursday, August 17th, 7 p.m. If you're in Las Vegas, I hope to see you there. And with that said, let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, it's time to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Madness. Wait a minute.
Turtle Power.
Mutant Madness, that's not what it's called. Mutant Mayhem, that's what it's called. And joining me is Mikey VIP. Mikey,
Hey.
It's so great to have you on the show, man.
What's up, Dave?
I am excited to talk about this one. This is your first time on a proper one-on-one Piecing It Together episode. You were on my live show of The Blackening. But since it's your first time, introduce yourself to my listeners.
I am Mikey VIP. I still don't know how to properly introduce myself. I'm a working DJ, movie enthusiast, music enthusiast, fan of the arts, I guess.
Sure.
But like I said, I like long walks on the beach.
Oh,
I'm a Leo.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Right.
But
on. Yeah.
I'm a fan of everything Dave's got going on. So just
Right
happy to be on the platform.
Right on. And, I reached out to you to be on this one because I saw your enthusiasm for this movie coming out. I saw you post on Facebook about it, how psyched you were for it. So I take it, along with those things that you're a fan of, that you are a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy.
It was the last of my childhood. Like, I remember those were the last toys I bought.
Yeah.
Before I grew out of toys.
I think me too. I think I've been the exact same age group there, like the same point of view as far as like toys are concerned.
I just remember Ninja Turtles and then being pushed Power Rangers. And I thought Power Rangers were so lame.
Mm-hmm.
And the live action was so bad. And I just was like, I'm done with cartoons if this is what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So Ninja Turtles was it, watching the movies in the theater and, Then they went into the third one, and the samurai versions, and
Sure,
you know.
sure.
But yeah, that was my childhood right there.
Right on, right on. Now, with that said, we should talk really quick before we get into puzzle pieces here for this specific movie. But being a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, were you a fan of the comics of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Because this movie, I feel like, heavily influenced by the comic books and comic books in general.
I know same with like Spider-Verse and stuff, like they're seen in these like comic books, like
Mm,
the frames that they're showing. You know, I I see the influence. I didn't grow up on comics. I wasn't
yeah.
pushed comics. I'll date myself. The first and only comic I remember buying is when Superman died.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Doomsday. I remember
Yeah.
buying the from the gas station the comics that were showing the different versions of Superman, like the Man of Steel, and so I never bought comics. I wasn't a big reader. I was more of a audio kind of guy. So like if it wasn't a cartoon, same with X-Men. Like I
Yeah.
loved X-Men, but I never read the comics. Like I
Mhm.
just would catch it, on TV.
Right, right. I've said this before on the show that like for me, all the Marvel characters, they're from Marvel versus Capcom. Like that's where
Yeah.
they're from for me, not
Yeah,
from comics.
Apocalypse and yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's where
played
I
that
know
at
them all.
Smith's. I remember playing that on Smith's on Sahara in Maryland growing up.
Nice,
That
nice.
X-Men.
Hell
Crazy.
yeah, those games
Shit I
ruled.
remember.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, well, with that said, let's start getting into some puzzle pieces. What do you have for a piece for this one?
Let's go Spider-Verse. You
Oh
know,
yeah, for sure.
good old Miles Morales, you know,
Oh yeah,
but more or less the scenes, you know what I'm saying? Like the way that they showed us on camera, it looks like scenes from a comic strip, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
the even the freeze frames and the close-ups and the web slinging, and the colors were vibrant.
yeah.
It was really cool visually. I regret I didn't see Ninja Turtles 3D. We
That would have been
intentionally
cool.
we went to go watch it 3D, and then my girl went and got tickets on Fandango,
Yeah.
and there was only one showing at 3 o'clock, and we missed it. So
Oh
she
damn.
thought she was getting 3D, but I regret it. I almost want to go back and check it out again because
Yeah.
I took a nap in the middle. But
It happens sometimes,
it
I
happens
guess.
to the best
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, Spider-Verse, I don't think you can even have this conversation without talking about Spider-Verse a little bit because yeah, that animation style, the way that they like basically bring comic book frames to life. I mean,
Yeah,
like you're
they
saying,
changed it.
like,
They changed the game
yeah,
pretty much. It made
they really did.
a full length movie animation that I didn't like turn away from. It was
Yeah.
just intense to watch. It was really like man, it was just entertaining.
Yeah. And that action, it's like super like hectic and chaotic. And like that was kind of something I would throw at the Spider-Verse movies too. I mean, it's just like all over the place the way that everything's moving constantly. And so that kind of reminded me of it too. Also the hip hop music. Both of them have like
Oh yeah.
really, really hip hop heavy soundtracks. This one more
And they're both New York
90s.
based.
Yeah, this one even more so New York based, I feel
Yeah,
like,
like
but
I heard
yeah.
the hip hop, the boom bap, like they didn't stray away from the hits, the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'll go to another puzzle piece. I'm gonna go. Since we're talking about that action a little bit there with the like the chaotic, like hectic action, I'm going with Jackie Chan movies. Like I would specifically go Rumble in the Bronx, but like you can go with a lot of different Jackie Chan, and of course Jackie Chan voicing Splinter. That also kind of connects it there.
Yeah,
Which
that's cool.
I think he was so much fun in this movie. But yeah, I mean, some of the like the fight choreography though, which is weird to say choreography with an animated movie, but I guess it still counts.
It's
But
still, yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
would
still
definitely,
choreography.
I wouldn't be surprised just because Seth, is such a fan.
Yeah.
I bet you there's frame by frame fight scenes from a movie in there.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee he took something from somewhere and paid homage somewhere,
Yeah.
and we got to find that later. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
that's a really good point. Yeah, I would not be surprised if he did that. Just totally like reanimating a classic Jackie Chan movie
a
fight.
Jackie
And
Chan movie
yeah,
for sure. He went back and found something. Some fights, it could have been a fight scene from Rush Hour, but he
yeah.
definitely mimicked or emulated the frame by frame. Like he had to have.
Yeah, yeah, that seems like something that they would have done, and I think you're absolutely right there. But yeah, let's go to another piece. What do you have for another puzzle piece here?
So me and my daughter watched a million cartoons, and Kung Fu Panda is one of them.
Oh, nice,
And
nice.
Kung Fu Panda, because of the master and the teacher, you know, the master and the students, and you had the prime mantis, and you
Sure.
know that tags along to my next one. But definitely the student and the pupil and all that type of jazz, but with the different styles, you know, you had from Mikey, Donnie, Leo,
Yeah,
Raph,
yeah.
like they all have, and that's why I like this movie too. They finally gave them some individuality, you
Mm.
know, with Raph being a bigger guy and he's got the tooth missing, and Mikey's smaller with the watermelon head, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you got Leonardo, that's the traditional shape and size of the Ninja Turtle that I remember,
Sure.
and then
And
you
he's the
got
leader.
Donnie. He's the leader, and
Yeah.
then Donnie's got the glasses, and he's, you know, he was always the techie nerd. So it
Sure.
was just cool, and like I'm hoping they come on Fortnite, and
Oh,
you could get
nice.
all four of them as a package, and they're all different with different attributes, and you know,
You play
we're into
Fortnite?
Fortnite. I do. Me and
Okay.
Pepe are in there.
All right. Maybe you'll have to explain to me what the hell Fortnite is one day.
It's just run and gun. It's just run and gun. They got different, like Futurama was just on there. Now they got some anime series that they're pushing. But
Yeah.
like Spider Verse was on there. You get the web sling, and it's
Nice.
fun. It's just
Nice.
shooting, run and gun, but it's more cartoony and it's less gore, like
Yeah,
Call of
yeah.
Duty and stuff like that.
I tried to play it once and I hit a button and my guy like crouched down on the ground and I hit every single fucking button. I couldn't get him to stand back up. He was
You
just
just had to
stuck on
push
the
that
ground.
same button one more
I
time.
I hit it. It wouldn't
It
work.
glitches. It glitch.
I don't
Some
know
of the
what the
games
hell's
glitch.
I don't know what's up with
We'll
that
teach
game.
you. Pepe will show you.
I will I will say
She
back
thinks
to
she's better than me.
nice. She'll probably beat me for sure. But
She'll
I'm
1v1 you.
oh nice. I will say back to Kung Fu Panda. I would also say obviously this being Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, having that comedic sensibility to a martial arts inspired animated movie, kind of connects the two in a way as well. Like you've got like obviously really funny people behind the scenes making this thing, and like
Right.
comedy is like kind of the focus. It's like first and foremost this is a comedy versus being like an action movie or anything like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'll go with another piece. Speaking of comedies, this is like just a little mini piece, but I wanted to throw it in there anyway. I'm going with Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls because of the scene where I think it was Tommy Davidson throws the spear. Or no, Tommy Davidson was the crazy guy. So someone else throws a spear and at Ace Ventura and it sticks in his leg. And that totally
Uh-huh.
reminds me of Michelangelo getting the sai stuck in his leg.
That's funny. Yeah, I definitely it could have been when Peter Griffin hurt his knee too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's filled with
yeah,
stuff like that.
that was funny.
Yeah.
You're reaching a little bit with the Ace Ventura, but I definitely see the comparison.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
funny.
Let's go to another one. I know you said that your last one kind of connects to another thing.
Yeah, the Five Deadly Venoms. I
Oh,
was really, you know, I'm
nice.
a Wu-Tang fan, and
Sure.
I was really into my Shaolin,
Sure.
Wu-Tang, you know, the series back in the day. And that that I don't know, that movie sticks out because there was different styles, and I didn't see like they don't all have like different styles, but I just associate the Five Deadly Venoms with the four Ninja Turtles and Splinter. You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
they had a leader and they all had different things going on. So,
Yeah.
and the actual fighting, you know, it felt very traditional. Like they, I don't know. I, I I guess I'm just such a super fan of that whole world
Right,
with
right.
the karate and with the martial arts and then the Ninja Turtles and I don't know. Big kid over here.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that, and I need to like I haven't watched those movies since high school. I remember I went on like a total binge of like every single DVD I could get my hands on, or a lot of them were on VHS actually.
The Drunken
Um,
Master and
yeah, yeah, hell yeah. That's actually one thing I think could have made this movie better. Like when they were like learning some of their skills by watching like YouTube videos or whatever it was, they should have been watching those movies. That's where they should have learned it from.
that would have been cool. That would have
Yeah,
definitely been cool. I wish there was a little more Wu-Tang sound effects and
sure. Yeah.
I wanted the RZA involved some way somehow.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how the RZA wasn't doing the score for this,
Yeah, yeah.
and I know that they have a tie together. I was just watching Funny People the other day and
Mhm.
RZA on camera with Seth is funny.
Oh, yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, I don't know. I wanted more Wu-Tang. I wanted a
Yeah.
Wu-Tang reference. I wanted Mikey to wear a Wu-Tang shirt to school. Like there
Oh,
was
yeah.
something missing Wu-Tang in there for me. But
Yeah. I will say though, as much as I completely agree with you, just to go on a little tangent for a second, the scores by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross,
oh,
and the
okay.
music was freaking killer in this movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, they really nailed it. It's one of my favorite scores that he's done in a while because I mean he does so many scores lately, but they don't all hit as far as I'm concerned. But
Okay.
this one was freaking awesome, and it sounded so good in the movie theater too.
Yeah, they
Um,
got me from the trailer when they were using Far Side.
oh hell
You
yeah,
know, that was just I was like, all right, they got
yep,
one. I can
yep.
tell they're gonna do this one right.
Where do I
Same with
buy
the
my
Spider
ticket?
Verse.
Yep,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
My birthday was August 3rd, so I was like, August 2nd, this is coming out, and then I
Nice,
called and I was like, we can go see it the first. We go watch a screening. So we
hell
went the
yeah,
first, and we just had to enjoy that one.
hell yeah. That's awesome, and happy birthday.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'll go to another
21.
puzzle piece. Hell yeah, I'll go to another puzzle piece here. I am going with Morbius, the terrible Jared Leto led superhero movie that became a big laughing stock and a meme last year. But I think that there's a lot of comparisons that could be made here. I mean, first of all, we've got an origin story where the villain, Ice Cube playing Superfly, also a big standout in this movie.
Yeah.
The villain's origin story is the same as the hero's origin story, which was a big part of Morbius. That I think his name is Matt Smith, the actor, but the main villain in Morbius, he was created in exactly the same way Morbius is created, and they both kind of have the same goals, except for one goes about it the bad way and one of them goes about it the good way. So you've got that. You also have the bad guy. Speaking of the bad guy, wanting the good guy to be a part of his plan, like he
Hmm.
really is into the idea of the good guys just being a part of what he's doing. And of course, the good guys are not going to do that because there's just so much evil involved in that plan. So there's really like a lot of comparisons that can be made. You could also talk about Morbius spending most of his time underground in the sewers, having a mentor that he deals with. There's a lot of things that reminded me of it, and this a lot better than Morbius.
Yeah. I did not waste my time on Morbius. To me, I just consider that a pandemic movie. It was something they had to feed us while we were starving.
Fair enough.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy now. The scenario of so many characters like they were supposed to be bad guys and they were all mutants and it does draw me into X-Men.
Oh,
It
sure.
draws me in, to that world and Avengers and some of these people were mutants. So
Yeah.
you got the Magneto type vibe,
Yeah.
and substitute, the bad girl that had the glasses like Krang's body did. So
Hmm.
that threw me off. I was like, is this supposed to be Krang? Because the lady just gave
Yeah.
me
Huh.
bad guy vibes with the Krang glasses that the
Maybe in the sequel she'll morph or something, turn
yeah,
into
like you
yeah.
never know. I mean, they made April O'Neil a black girl, so they can
Yeah.
make Krang a lady that mutates into her brain, or I don't know. Sky's the
Yeah.
limits.
Yeah.
There's so many characters that they didn't even touch on, or bring out yet. So,
Yeah.
because I mean, what were the turtle and the I forget the characters' names now, because it was Bebop and Rocksteady,
Uh-huh.
and then
Who
they
are
had
good
a
guys in
turtle.
this.
Yeah, so that was, I guess, Shredder's gonna turn them later.
Sure. Yeah, most
You
likely.
know,
Which, by the way, did you
but
know? Did you catch it was Seth Rogen doing the voice on Bebop? I
yeah,
recognized
I
his
looked at,
voice right
I
away.
cheated.
Yeah.
I look at IMDb before I
Yeah.
went, so
Yeah.
I was waiting for that one, and he still changed his voice enough where it wasn't blatant like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
Ice
Ice Cube is
Cube,
Ice Cube.
he killed it.
Yeah. He
There's some
he really
people
did.
that you hear the voice and it's like, all right, Kevin Hart,
Hmm.
on Snowball, like you can't not know that's Kevin Hart. So,
Sure. Sure.
but yeah, the X-Men definitely would be an extra one
Yeah, yeah,
where,
throw X-Men
you
in there. I
know,
think that's definitely that fits in this. And you got like such a big team and all the other characters like the X-Men. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about like Marvel kind of having a slow moment right now. And obviously once they redo X-Men, they're going to have like so many characters to play with. And this, they're obviously getting usually where you talked about earlier about Casey Jones not being in there, which was a bit of a disappointment, but they have so many characters in this thing.
yeah, Rat King,
Hmm.
um, definitely Shredder, Super Shredder, the Foot
Yeah.
Clan in itself.
Yeah.
The leader of the Foot Clan, or the manager, the bald Asian guy. I remember he was like second in command.
I
I
forget what
forget
that
his
guy's name
name.
is. Yeah.
And then the origin story that I don't know how they're gonna connect now with Splinter and Shredder with the Rokosaki.
Right,
You
right.
know, how are they gonna make them be childhood allies or friends or back in the day people? Like, I don't understand that part. Like, they're obviously gonna rewrite some stuff
Yeah.
and make this its own universe, like they
Yeah.
already did with Bebop and Rocksteady being, good guys.
Yeah.
They came out as Shredder's secret weapons because they had ooze and he, hooked those guys up. But it's weird to remember this, and I've told myself I was gonna go back and watch all the turtle movies and stuff, but they're in my brain. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have to rewatch them. Like, I'm pulling them out as I'm thinking of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that they had Vanilla Ice for that short
Yeah, just
scene
a
on
little
the
snippet.
radio, little
Yep.
ninja rap on there.
Mhm.
That was definitely a bone for us,
Oh yeah.
as old fans.
Oh hell
But
yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
crazy.
By the way, real quick before I go to my next piece, you had mentioned you called Morbius a pandemic movie. Speaking of pandemic movies, did you see The Mitchells versus the Machines? That's the last
Yes.
movie. That's so good. That
Yeah.
this director co-directed The Mitchells versus the Machines. This is his first time
Okay.
directing solo, like the main director on a film. But
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
The
a great
Mitchells
movie. I watched that a
so
couple
good.
times with my daughter.
Yeah, that's one of the best animated films I think of the last few years. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to.
that was good stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
we watch a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff nowadays that I don't really jump into, but
Mhm.
that's memorable.
Yeah, good one for sure. Well, I'll go to another puzzle piece here, and we'll talk a little bit more about the villain with this one. I'm going with 1993's Super Mario Brothers, a movie that is, shunned in history as just being so terrible, but I actually think is kind of fun. It's just so ridiculous and so insane. But one of the things that movie does is King Koopa, Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, his
Let's
his
play a little
big
game.
hell yeah. His big plan is basically to devolve all the humans into animals. And that's basically what Superfly is trying to do here is to like devolve everybody. And so that was kind of like my main thing when he started like explaining what his big plan was. I was like, this is basically like King Koopa's plan. And so it's really mostly the villain's evil super plan is what maybe made me want to connect these two. And also I don't
Yeah.
get to bring up Super Mario Brothers enough on this show.
I mean, the new Mario Brothers
Hmm.
cartoon
Yeah,
was amazing.
it
I
was
thought it
pretty
was
damn
great.
fun. Yeah.
You know, Jack Black murdered it. I DJ and play Peaches. I got a
Nice.
remix for Peaches.
Nice.
I did a I did a remix on the fly at a pool party just because there was a bunch of kids,
Hmm.
and I played the Peaches song, and I put the beat to Far Side, not Drop, but Passing Me By.
Oh boy.
I had the beat to that with Peaches, and it was so fresh. I wish I could have. I wish I would have recorded. I got to recreate it,
Oh,
but it
that's
was.
awesome.
Yeah, sorry. We were crazy over the Mario Brothers movie. We went and saw that, and I just thought they did a good job with that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. It's still crazy that movie made $1 billion. Like
A
that,
billion?
yeah, nobody expected that at all. Like
Wow,
one of the big hits of like post-pandemic. Like it's crazy. But
that's good.
yeah, certainly
Those
wiped my 1993 Super Mario Brothers like away from memory. I think for
John
Nintendo and
Leguizamo's rolling over in his grave. And I'm
oh
just playing. He's
yeah.
not dead.
He's not dead and he rules. He's awesome. But
Yeah, John Leguizamo's awesome.
hell yeah. What do you got for another piece here?
Um, Three Ninjas,
Three
Tum Tum.
ninjas.
Um,
Amazing.
it's just the child part. Like there was three little kids. I consider the Ninja Turtles as young. They're teenagers, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, preteens. You know, one of
Hmm.
them might be. I mean, they're all the same age, but you know, there was still the little one, which I consider Mikey, the childish one, and the bigger brother, and the more aggressive. You know, Leonardo, and I like how they did Leonardo, where they really put it on him. Like, dude, you're a brown noser. Like,
Yeah.
we know you're the leader, but let's go have some fun. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, the adolescence of the three ninjas is what I'm talking about. Plus, they had the grandfather as the teacher, which would be Splinter, and
Hmm.
just very resembles all that. And you know, they wore different colors, and they had somewhat of a mask, and you know, they
Yeah.
wear their eye masks. So
Nice.
definitely rings a bell on those.
I think that's a great one. And it's funny, I don't think Three Ninjas has ever come up as a puzzle piece on this podcast before.
Rocky
So
loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily.
amazing. I got to
I haven't
revisit
watched
that
that
one
movie
day.
in years, but
Yeah.
it's right
Yeah.
there. It's right there.
Hell yeah. Well, I got one more puzzle
Don't get
piece.
me on Three Ninjas Part Two. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
no. Oh
I'm
no.
just kidding. I don't remember that one that good.
Well, I'll go with one last piece, and this goes from Three Ninjas to a couple of dramas here. But I'm going to combine two things: Leave No Trace and The Glass Castle, two drama films that maybe are a little bit of a stretch, but basically this idea of Splinter being so scared and fearful of like humans that they wouldn't understand him, that he makes the turtles live in this, basically in the middle of nowhere, in this case in the sewers, but in a movie
Right.
like Leave No Trace, the father is played by Ben Foster. He's a PTSD survivor, and he makes his daughter live with him out in the woods. And The Glass Castle is Woody Harrelson as the dad, makes his family like live as drifters, basically this nomadic life, squatting and off grid, and so yeah, I mean it's again, definitely different tones with these kinds of movies, but just that idea of the father who's so scared of humans that has to make his family like live in this kind of conditions. I just figured I'd bring this one into the conversation here, and Leave No Trace is especially a really really good movie that people should
Would
watch.
would that tie to I think it was Hills Have Eyes or 28 Days Later, how basically they framed off this part of land that they didn't want nobody getting out of, and they used
Mm.
scare tactics to make you not want to leave. And if you got too close to the perimeter, you know, something would pretty much make you go back into the to the to the to the frame. You
Uh-huh.
know, I can't remember what movie that is, but it's the same premise. It's don't
I
go
feel, is it The
outside.
Village maybe? But that's funny though that you bring that up, because for this piece I was gonna bring up this movie called Dogtooth. That's just like really weird foreign film that's like very very fucked up and really doesn't belong in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Right,
movie
right.
episode.
We,
So,
you know, Seth is in the same movie where you know what was the movie I'm trying to reference where the end of the world. Um,
oh, this is the end.
This is the end.
That movie's
It's the same
hilarious.
guy who made that movie. So,
Yeah.
or he's in that movie. So there's no rules with this guy's brain. Like he will throw in any and everything to keep us entertained. So
Absolutely. That is
yeah.
absolutely right. Well, I'll read down the list of puzzle pieces we just talked about, and then we'll get into some closing thoughts here. We, of course, kicked it off with the Spider-Verse movies. You kind of have to. And then we went into some Jackie Chan. We went to Kung Fu Panda, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, Five Deadly Venoms, and other Shaolin films, Morbius, X-Men, Super Mario Brothers, Three Ninjas, Leave No Trace, and The Glass Castle. And I think we got into a lot of really interesting stuff here. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything we didn't quite get to while we were
It-
talking about
It's
pieces?
definitely worth watching again. I
Yeah.
definitely am excited for the spin-offs, and you know, they're not even part twos. Like they're going to be whole other chapters, and
Hmm.
that was a full movie. They're going to have another installment. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I like the people that we're thinking about. Like they're going to have the Shredders and the Rat Kings and Casey Jones, and they got some real estate to keep going. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see who else they're going to pull in. Post Malone did a voice.
Hmm.
Ice Cube did a voice. I think
Paul
Pete
Rudd was
Davidson
in
was in
there.
there. Rudd.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's everybody's gonna want to be a part of this. So
Yeah.
Lord knows after this first one and the success of Mario Brothers, and I'm sure this Ninja Turtle movie is the end of summer. Kids are going back to school. Everybody got to go to that. All the
Yeah.
merch, all the rehashing of the turtles, and I think Ninja Turtle is by far one of the biggest things that came from the 90s and stayed some way somehow. I mean, there's been multiple versions from the animated series, and it would be cool to see. I don't know if they need to do live action again, but
Hmm.
the animated is definitely making everybody happy, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another thing, like this movie, even though, like I said, I'm like kind of in the middle on it. Like I gave it 3 stars on my letterbox, but like, uh, this is maybe the most of any of the summer blockbusters this year that like the audience and the critics have agreed that it's just really good and a good time and people should
Mm.
see it. Like it's
Rotten
kind of across
Tomatoes
the
gave
board.
it 97% or something.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
So that speaks highly of it. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how swayed they could be.
Everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Music,
So
animation, characters, nostalgia. You know, I didn't find anything wrong with it besides I think I had too many gummies and I took me a little dirt nap in the middle of it.
yeah, well, that will happen from time to time, absolutely. And it's your
The
birthday, so
popcorn.
I mean, come
The
on.
popcorn had me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, I think that does it for the Turtles. Mikey VIP, I always close these things out asking my guest, is there another movie you watched recently you'd like to recommend to our listeners?
I just watched They Clone Tyrone last night, finally.
Oh, I want to watch that. I haven't gotten a chance yet.
It was very cool. It was fun, eye opening. It gave me Jordan Peele vibes as
Hmm.
far as the message going across.
Yeah.
Um, but on the same note, Jamie Foxx is in the news, and there's a possibility that guy's cloned in real life. Like, it's just wild to, mixing art with reality
Uh-huh.
and hiding in plain sight. Like, what if this is the wool over the eyes?
Hmm.
Like that guy really is missing, and he comes out and looks nothing like himself in his little interview, and he makes fun about possibly being cloned to throw it in our face one more time.
Right.
It's
Anything's
wild.
possible, right? It's all
Yeah,
possible.
unfortunately, anything is possible. Like him and Biden are both walking around cloned, but that might be for a different podcast. We got to put our
Yeah.
tinfoil hats on that one.
We'll talk about that on the next one for sure. But
Yeah,
tell people where they could find you and your shows and everything you're up to.
um, we are doing Fridays and Saturdays at the Backyard. I'm after the show, it's the after party. I'm there from midnight to 2 at the Backyard, 117 South Water Street in Henderson, H9015. We also are doing comedy again at the Pass, which is across the street on Water Street. And we're doing that this Saturday. And we got 3 other dates. You can check our social media. It's at Mikey VIP on all platforms, even X, Twitter, I guess you want to call it. Mikey VIP, Facebook, Instagram, MikeyVIP.com. You know, I got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm at somebody's party doing somebody's DJ work. So,
hell yeah, right on. Well, hey, it was great getting you back on the show, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again sometime, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime. I love what you're doing.
Hey there, listeners. We're Sisters Assembled, a Marvel Theory podcast and your place for all things MCU.
Each week, we tackle a new topic relating to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, including reactions to the Disney Plus shows and the movies, deep dives on characters and important concepts, news, and theories. You can find Sisters Assembled on your podcast platform of choice, or check out our blog at sistersassembled.wordpress.com.
So come along for the ride, because Marvel just blew your mind, so let's talk about it.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Thanks to Mikey VIP for joining me on that one. Make sure if you're in Las Vegas to go out and check out his events that he does. I'll put a link in the show notes. They're always really fun. And I need to make it out to more of those because they are a really good time. Other things that you should make it out to is our live Piecing It Together next week at Maya Cinemas. It's going to be on the film Strays with the voices of Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx and a bunch of other really funny people, and it just looks great. And joining me is Tony Gonzalez, my mom, Sunny Rosen, and the Podtastic Friends. Tickets are available right now, and if you're listening to this the day it goes up, there's an Enter to Win contest that is still going on until the end of this weekend, so check it out. piecingpod.com. You can get all the info, and I do hope to see you there. And while you're at it, make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media at piecingpod. And I already told you everything at the top of the show. If you could do some of those things, I would appreciate it, whether it's the Patreon, whether it's the social media, whether it's the Facebook group, whatever it is. I'm just happy you're out there listening, and we got a lot more podcasts on the way, so look forward to that. And let's close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And for, you know, a movie that's based on like a Saturday morning cartoon, I mean, who doesn't love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song? I got to go with, I've played this on the show before, like once or twice, but it's been a while, I think. A track that is 100%, we talk about inspirations on the show, 100% inspired by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme. This is something that I made for just a silly, fun project about my one of my roommates in my college years, Rock and Roll Billy, who I haven't seen in like a year now. I got to catch up with Billy one of these days. But I made this animated little film about Billy. It's basically like the intro theme to a Saturday morning cartoon. It's about Billy and his dog Dexter and how they're crime fighters, and it's totally ridiculous. And yeah, it's a really fun track. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
Rock and roll daily, rock and roll daily. You know we like some adventure every day. Getting high, fighting crime the Billy way. Rock and roll daily. You know he's got the Dexter on his side in a leopard skin truck and away they ride. Rock and roll daily. Evil doers better change your criminal ways, 'cause here comes Billy and Dexter to save the day. Rock and roll daily. Ever since he was a young boy and Dexter
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.
Usually my girl will nudge me like if she sees me nodding off. My daughter saw me sleeping and she knows I work, so she just kind of let me go. And when I woke up, I looked over at her and she's like, "You just missed a bunch of good stuff." And I was like, "Oh man, like why didn't you wake me up, Patience?" And she was like, "I didn't want to bother you. You were sleeping."
Maybe I
Like,
should have had your
dude.
daughter on this episode. Maybe that would
Yeah,
have.
she's right here. She's right here.
We got to see if she has any puzzle pieces for this thing.
Yeah, I'll ask her some questions.